Hey, it's JT,
And Mike.
hosts of Brew Crime.
And we've got some exciting news for you.
Mark your calendars for July 12th to 14th, 2024.
We're heading to the True Crime and Paranormal Podcast Festival in Denver, Colorado, and you won't want to miss it.
Are you worried about costs? Fear not. This festival is designed with you in mind, an affordable experience without sacrificing quality.
There are no inflated costs, just a weekend packed with authenticity, education, and networking.
Have you ever wished for genuine one-on-one interactions with your favorite creators? Well, now is your chance.
Save 15% off your ticket price by using the code BREWS at checkout.
You know, those things you need after listening to us for an hour? Well, at least me.
We hope to see you there and let them know.
Brew Crime sent you. Head over to truecrimepodcastfestival.com.
Welcome to Brew Crime, the podcast where we drink brews, talk crimes, conspiracies, or whatever catches our attention. This is Mike and my co-host.
JT.
The T short, the J's long.
Yes, it's a long J and a short T. But everybody likes a
Ah.
long J now and again.
Yes, they do.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. Hey, Mike,
Yes.
what's the difference between a tuna fish, a piano, and glue?
I don't know.
You can tune a piano. You can't piano a tuna.
Oh my. Very true.
That's the point where Mike says, what about the glue?
Yes, that is true. What about the glue?
I knew you'd get stuck on that.
And I screwed it up because I didn't even remember the glue. Oh man, that joke made a splash.
Oh man, that's like one of my favorite albums. It's by Earlier Speedwagon. It's called "You Can Tune a Piano, but You Can't Tune a Fish."
I do not
Brilliant.
know that album.
It's like a fish vertical with a tuning fork coming out of its mouth.
Oh my god, nice. At least I've heard of them.
Right. Well,
Otherwise, I
sir,
got no idea.
tonight we're getting back to our roots
Yes. We
in
is.
murder and crime.
We are, but a little more current, maybe.
Yeah. There were a couple that we passed around that weren't completed or recently completed. The case that I'm talking about tonight was in 2021. So I would call that current and
Yeah, pretty
relativity,
current.
relative to what we've talked about in the past. But I'm really excited to share this one with you. Do you remember the case that I did on the Dexter killer
Yes.
and how freaking ridiculous he was?
Oh yeah, he was a little extra for sure.
Yeah,
Dumbass.
oh, fit that right in. Chandler Halderson is yeah, he's right there with him. In different ways, but mostly like the cojones on this guy, just not smarts, just cojones.
Yeah,
Um
lots of balls.
he's got a real set of ovaries on him. Um but so like again, I'm doing the whole trying not to drink a lot thing. Trying not to drink a lot thing. I have water, but I did have a really good lager that had lime and salt. So you think lager, lime, salt, you think Corona, and this is kind of like that, but it's like a step up from Stone Brewing.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and it's very freaking good. And I cannot remember to save my life what it's called. Just look up Stone Brewing. It's there. They have it. It's so good. I had it at a restaurant, and then I was like, I need cans of this, and luckily, oh, Buena Vesa. I think it's called Buena Vesa, and it's
Okay.
so good, so good. Um, so if you want a pairing, there it is. It's that one. And I do
Nice.
that because this happened in July. And so summer, I think light beer, I think lagers. That's kind of where we went with that.
Yeah, makes
Um,
sense.
especially since I made it up just now. Not the beer, just the pairing.
Well
So,
done. Well, my
eh,
pairing for my case next week will be a little less light.
oh boy. I mean, that's all right. Um, so at times, I feel like I run across a character who is just beyond description. There is not one phenomenal writer who could put together a character that even remotely resembles them. In walks Chandler Halderson, a 23-year-old pre-June 2021. To hear him tell us about his life, something he really enjoyed talking about, he had a lot going for him. One would say almost too much. A recent college
Uh-oh.
graduate, he was working at home remotely for an insurance company. He volunteered with the local department as part of their scuba search team. He was living at home with his parents, but he soon had plans to move to Florida with his girlfriend so he could accept a gorgeous job offer with an $80,000 paycheck from SpaceX.
Oh, nice.
However, and in a bizarre turn of events, he ended up taking a really bad fall down the stairs. He went to the emergency department, was diagnosed with a concussion, and he had to wear a neck brace. He had headaches, tingling in extremities, and frequent lightheadedness. Doctors told him that if it got worse, they would have to take him for brain surgery, drill a hole in his head. They told him he shouldn't travel very far until he had recovered. Of course, this canceled the Florida relocation, and he lost his SpaceX job. Now, we're going to get back to that all in just a little bit.
I had a feeling.
Why? Because it's going to play a part in at the very least the background into the psyche of Chandler Halderson. Further from the gospel according to Chandler, July 1st was a massive moment in the lives of him, his family, and all who knew his parents, Krista and Bart Halderson. So, what I want to do is go through a timeline and then kind of give a narrative and then speak a little bit more towards Chandler's predilection for expounding upon falsities.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we're back in 2021. We're starting this off right at the smack dab beginning of July, July 1st. Um, so Chandler Halderson reports to police and neighbors that that is the date he last saw his parents. He claimed he helped his parents pack for an emergency trip. Do you know children who help their parents pack? I don't.
Not usually. I mean, for moving, like the whole
Right,
house, yes,
right.
but not just for a trip.
Right. Okay, so he claimed he helped his parents pack for an emergency trip to their cabin to complete repairs at the property after the storm. They had a cabin about 2 to 3 hours north of their family home. The day after July 2nd, Krista's coworker tells police she was supposed to be working but didn't show up, which is very much unlike her.
That is
Um,
weird, yeah.
which note to self, make that a thing in my life. If I don't show up to work and don't call in, make sure that's pretty suspicious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
if you're not like a delinquent employee, then it probably would be suspicious regardless, right?
right,
And
right,
if you are, good for you. But
right.
down with the
Um,
man.
Down with the man. Chandler at that point said that his parents were picked up by friends that he did not know in a car he couldn't tell them about to go to their cabin 2 to 3 hours north of their home. Now, he said that they had
Um,
already left by the time he woke up, which was listed at around 6:15 a.m. Uh, and it's weird because apparently friends drove his parents to go north to complete repairs. Not not really making sense.
no, not really. Not yet, at least.
Um,
I'm sure it
right.
will.
So,
I'm sure it will.
oh, so much sense. Uh, July 3rd, a woman saw a man matching Chandler's description in the area of a property in Columbia. By the way, this happens in Wisconsin. The person
That's
she
cheesy.
saw was, yeah, right, for real. That's why I started with the joke I did. Damn it. Um, the person she saw was wearing a backpack and was walking away from the Wisconsin River. And she thought his behavior was odd because he walked away from his vehicle towards the highway. Then, when he approached the highway, he just turned around and went back to his car. That's it. Um,
Um,
yeah, right. So, July 5th, Chandler traveled to a property in Cottage Grove that belonged to the family of his girlfriend. In short, it was his girlfriend's mother's girlfriend's place. Girlfriend's mother's girlfriend's place.
I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. He showed up around 5:30 p.m. in his parents' Subaru, and Chris, his mother's partner, said that he could use the pool. He was injured, he said, and his leg was hurting, and he wondered if he could use the pool as a form of therapy. This was somewhat recent to when he had the quote fall down the stairs. So once she said yes, he wasn't seen for an hour and a half. And she remembered this because
Uh,
she wanted to get into the pool herself. She had to wait because typically she gets into the pool without a top, which I say, bless her.
Good
Um,
for her, and also I understand why you'd wait.
right, exactly. So she said the Subaru had its hatchback open by a shed on the south end of the property, and later saw Chandler further south of the shed near a wood line. When Chandler did return, he wasn't wet. The cover had not been taken off the pool, and he certainly hadn't used it. So what was he doing? There was also some weird testimony in the trial, and I'm saying this off the cuff, but she was talking about how she was there. Chandler's girlfriend's mom was there. They were in the pool. She didn't have a top on, and Chandler was like, "Is it cool if I just get in?" And so Chandler got in the
No, no,
pool.
it's not.
He got in the pool anyways. And just like looked out and was like splashing around. And the thought is, I'm kind of giving it away, but the thought is that he needed to wash off.
Oh,
Um,
probably, yeah.
so July 7th, 2021. This is the date in which Chandler reports his parents missing. Um, and he's yeah. So
They were
the
supposed to be out
information
fixing my like their place, but they've been gone forever.
they've been gone for a week. The information then was that they were last seen at their home on July 1st and were planning a trip to the family cabin. Police interviewed Chandler that day at the family's home, noticed that sections of the floor were missing, along with an outline of a half wall next to the door that was no longer there. It's just weird.
That is a
Um,
little odd.
yeah, so Chandler explained that his parents were picked up on July 2nd to go to their cabin, but he didn't know by whom, as they were picked up before he woke up. He last heard from his parents on July 4th when his mom texted him. That was allegedly the only communication he had with his parents over the course of their trip. He thought his parents were missing because they weren't back by July 7th, 6 days after they left, and all of his calls were going right to voicemail.
Hmm.
July 8th, this day brought multiple developments, and it was because of these that the investigation changed up a little bit. Chandler spoke with several. This was weird. So Chandler spoke with several news outlets about his parents' disappearance. He told them a similar story to what he told police, and that's not the problem. What was
No.
weird is that he refused to be on camera.
Yeah, that is odd. Yeah, usually if your parents are missing, you want to get out there in front of everything, right?
Right, right. So it was all audio. There kind of isn't an explanation as to why, other than possibly some of the other stuff that comes out in the end regarding injuries and all that stuff. Um, Chandler's girlfriend's family property on this day was searched due to the weird observation I mentioned earlier from his girlfriend's mother's partner. And so during this search, they found a mutilated and dismembered human remains.
Ugh, troublesome.
Oh, yeah. Chandler went for another interview with police and was taken into custody for providing false information on a missing persons case. Police at that time had classified the disappearance as, quote, suspicious. Um, which, yes.
You don't
On
say,
the
right?
you don't say. So on the morning of Chandler's arrest, he was searching for information on his parents' death. He made 6 Google searches back to back that included body found or Bart and Krista. Lord help me if I end up being looked at for a crime.
Jesus.
Mostly because like obviously I looked this up, but then there was cause to look up the like burning point of a body, like how to so
But
I
I
had
mean,
I had to
you're
search
you're
it.
not gonna you wouldn't be doing that when your family was missing. You'd be like
Right,
trying to find your family.
right, right. But like he searched the following 6 things: body found Wisconsin, woman's body found in Wisconsin, Wisconsin dismembered body found, dead body found in Wisconsin, body found in Milwaukee River 2021, and then Bart and Krista. So
Uh,
yeah. The next day, police announced that they found human remains that they called unidentifiable. Um, July 11th, the Dane County Sheriff's Office confirmed that they executed a search on the Halderson family home. They spent most of July processing the home. July 12th, the human remains that they found at the family home of Chandler's girlfriend were announced as Bart Halderson. They didn't say when he died, but that it could have been between July 1st and July 8th. His death was listed as a result of homicidal violence, including a firearm injury. Although he was placed on the scene of where the remains were found, he was only in custody for providing false information at the time, and there was a $10,000 bond set in court. However, his charges changed, and the newly recommended charges were first-degree intentional homicide, hiding a corpse, and mutilating a corpse. To which I say, that escalated quickly.
100%. But I'm not surprised at all for some reason.
Yeah, right. So July 14th, police searched the property Chandler was seen on when he walked to the highway and walked back. They call this the DNR property. They found more human remains, which were not immediately identified. July 15th, Chandler was formally charged in the death of his father. His bail bounces up to $1 million. So he's got 4 charges currently: first-degree intentional homicide, hiding a corpse, mutilating a corpse, and providing false information. Krista Halderson, his mother, is still listed as a missing person.
Jeez.
An autopsy was completed on the other human remains found, but they weren't able to identify who the human remains belonged to. So they were continuing testing those. July 20th, Dane County Sheriff's Office announced that there are new locations being searched, including in the waste management landfill outside Johnson Creek. Hopefully Johnson Creek is just a location and not an actual creek, because
I
having
agree.
a landfill place out, yeah, ugh. How American. July 22nd, another location started being searched, this time behind the Halderson house. They worked with canines, the dive team, and they tried to drain the pond behind their home from 12 feet to 5 feet. Police investigation
Of course, Americans try to drain the swamp. I had to.
Oh, God. Police investigation led them to the pond, and a cadaver dog made a hit in the area. A total of 5 locations were being searched at that point: the Rural Cottage Grove location, the DNR property, Johnson Creek landfill, Halderson house itself, and the pond. July 27th, more human remains were found in connection with the case, this time on the Halderson family property. The next day, Chandler appeared in court. He waived prelim hearing and is kept over for trial. Police end the search at the landfill. The search at Halderson home turned up evidence. Bart and Krista's here you go. The search at the Halderson home turned up evidence: Bart and Krista's phones and IDs.
That's not good.
Nope. And not only that, but they were found in a shoe beneath a shelving unit in the garage, wrapped in tin foil and a paper towel.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that, put the weirdness aside, but I feel like that kind of eliminates all questioning about being intentional about it, right?
100%. Yeah.
And then, do you remember he said that his mom texted him real quickly on July 4th, and that's the only time he heard from her?
Yep.
Phone records show that last text sent from Krista's phone, the one Chandler got, put her location in Dane County, not in Langlade County. So that text was sent from around the tower area of their home, not their cabin.
Oh, of course.
So he sent it to himself.
Douchebag.
Yep. Which is not we'll learn soon enough about other things. It's not the first time he's done something like that. So July 30th, DNA obtained from the second group of remains found was announced to have been Krista Halderson. The sheriff's office worked with the DA to add another set of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, hiding a corpse, to the already lengthy list of charges Chandler had. August 25th, that's a month after Krista Halderson's remains were identified, new charges were filed. So he's got a grand total of 8 charges in total, 4 per parent.
Wow.
Yeah. September 1st, Chandler's in court for arraignment, pleaded not guilty to all charges. Like the dick he is. Judge stated he wanted to use well, it doesn't, the timing doesn't really matter. November 16th, the judge rules to allow outside acts into the trial. Now, this is important because we are going to talk about this. It includes other acts based on emails and other communication. So those included allegedly false communications regarding employment, allegedly false communications regarding prospective employment, allegedly false communications regarding the extent of an injury and the provenance of that injury, and allegedly false communications regarding educational endeavors. So everything that I said that he said he had done.
Yeah, 100%.
So that is the timeline. Aren't you lucky? Um,
100%.
so let's take a second just to talk about the lives of Chandler Halderson. And I'm not just talking about the murders. So I mentioned in the beginning he was portraying a college student who was about to graduate, working at an insurance company, helping police as a scuba diver for a rescue team, and was on his way to being hired for SpaceX in Florida for an $80K salary job. None of that was true at all.
Big surprise. Big surprise.
Right. But he was so incredibly convincing. He had his parents, girlfriend's mom, and others convinced as well. And I think it's a combination of he did a decent job lying to a degree. I mean, they're ridiculous lies now that we know. But also, he took advantage of the fact that they wanted to believe the best. So
yeah, 100%. Like it's a family member, so you just assume that they're telling the truth.
Right. The reality was he was unemployed. He was a slacker mooching off his parents. He played video games when he was supposed to be working remotely for the insurance company, and he resorted to increasingly desperate lies to keep the original ones going. He claimed to work at the insurance business for a year, but eventually his dad, an accountant, kept asking why he wasn't paying rent if he had a job. Well,
very good question.
Right, I think so too. First, he said that the company withheld his paychecks because they mistakenly had him as an hourly worker instead of salary. Then he said he gave them the wrong direct deposit information. Then he said they had to pay him so much money the bank thought the deposit was fake.
I mean, I wish I had a payment that was so big the bank thought it was fake.
Right? Now, in addition to these, he staged emails between himself and a fake HR person using a generic email address, which he forwarded to his dad. And it worked for a bit. His parents gave him the benefit of the doubt. So he didn't have that job. He also didn't dive with the rescue team because the Department of Natural Resources doesn't have scuba diving teams. And in order to be on one, he would have had to be a member of the police force.
Oh, my God. I mean, that's unfortunate, but...
Right. He did go to college, but he flunked out after a semester. So eventually, when he could no longer come up with lies to tell his dad about the insurance company, he said it didn't matter because he was getting a job with SpaceX. He just had an interview to do in Florida. He lied to his girlfriend about renting an apartment in Florida and buying a car to head down there. Now, and the next part's kind of speculation on my part, but Chandler had a brother who was pretty successful. He was about to be married. He had a good job. He's pretty smart. The polar opposite of Chandler. He was driven, motivated. There was, I think that
he was Joey,
played a part.
Not Chandler.
Right. Exactly. So there was no way that he was going to be able to carry that SpaceX lie at all.
No.
It was going to come to a head. And there was also a moment, too, where his brother went to the hospital and ended up having a medical issue. I think it ended up being diabetes. But at that point, Chandler had a light bulb moment. What would create sympathy, eliminate his ability to go to Florida, and get him out of the lies while also stealing the spotlight back from his brother? An injury, right? Having something serious happen.
Oh, I hate these people.
Right? So he faked getting a serious concussion from a fall down the stairs. He claimed, this is what he claims. He claims that he had a brain bleed, a hematoma, spinal damage, had to get his head drilled open, was unable to use his legs, unable to drive, was getting nerve damage, was unable to fly on an airplane, and would be needing a colostomy bag.
I call bag shit.
I was really hoping you'd go there, and you did.
Can't call bullshit because it's bag shit.
Bag shit. What's really funny is in the trial, the attorney calls it a poop bag. And the doctor on the stand, who I was really hoping would correct them, completely agreed. Yes, a poop bag, he said. It was great.
I mean, it is,
So yeah,
right?
it literally is.
Yeah.
Um,
Ostomy bag is a pee bag.
right.
Colostomy bag is a poop bag. So it is a poop bag.
It is a poop bag. It's just funny hearing a doctor call it a poop bag.
Yeah.
Um,
Crap
but
sack.
I guess if you're gonna go hard on these lies,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so there were pictures of Halderson wearing a neck brace. He was apparently on the bottom floor with two couches pushed together. He was really milking it for all it's worth, just really going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
But the signs that he was faking were there. A doctor from the hospital testified at the trial, said his CT scan was it was unremarkable. It was fine. He had soreness and tenderness in the vertebrae of his neck when someone like pressed on it, but that's nothing. He didn't have
You can
any of
fake
the
that
other
easily.
things. Right. He had nothing of the other things. And the only reason he gave him the neck brace is because it's protocol because of
Yeah,
the neck
100%.
injury. And they didn't give him pain pills. This is the thing. And I pointed this out, while watching the trial. They didn't give him pain pills. What they gave him was pills for nausea. So the doctor apparently didn't think it was that bad, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So um
And I mean,
this
yeah, nausea pills, that's not going to help much for a lot of things.
yeah, and so this was also evident. The lies were evident when Chandler was caught on security cameras without his brace. But yep. Yeah, just wait till I tell you what he was doing when he was caught on security cameras. So back to the school lie. His father finally figured out the truth regarding that. He thought the college was wrongfully withholding his son's transcript, so he pretended to be his son in a phone call with the college customer service rep. It was at that point that he learned the school officials his son was communicating with were completely made up. The last recorded words of his father were, quote, "That'll be it then." Um,
Oh my God, that'll be it then.
yep. So this was the day. This was a day and some change before the murders. Bart's calendar said he was scheduled to meet with school officials with Chandler on July 1st. He texted his son at 2:10 p.m. saying, quote, "I'm ready whenever you are," about 50 minutes before his murder. Chandler shot Bart in the back with a high-powered rifle. Then he texted his mom that his father's phone died and asked her to bring him soda. And she responded, "Okay, I can," with a smiley face. She went back home after picking up soda and never came out alive again. And this all happened between 3
And
and 5 p.m.
they just sound like probably really nice people.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes,
I
absolutely.
mean,
All
they sound like
reports
they
say,
useless son that doesn't, you know, when I was younger and I was going to school, I didn't pay rent. But once I finished school, I paid rent. It's if you're not working and you're living at home, what are you actually doing? I yeah, it just sounds
a
like he was a
cliche.
mooch. Yeah, like just too many cases like this out there.
Yeah. So, of course, shooting them wasn't enough. He had to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so after he did the shooting, surveillance caught him, as I said above, without his neck brace on. He was lugging bags of ice around at gas stations, which were used to ice his father's body and presumably his mother's body as well.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yep. So he not only killed his parents, he dismembered them. On top of that, he also attempted to burn them as well. According to like a security camera, it kind of showed the light coming through the window, a home fireplace on all night long. Now, as we know, burning remains takes an incredible amount of heat.
It sure
Incredible.
does.
I looked it up. 760 to 982 degrees Celsius, which is 1400 to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Like you can cook the meat no problem. It's dealing with the bones.
Right.
That's very
Right.
hard.
And a family home fireplace ain't gonna give it to you. Just
Yeah.
not. So he tried. He tried doing it. Some of the remains were found in the fireplace ash collection. There was reports of like a pork smell, which
Unfortunately, yep.
yes. But the fire did get hot, obviously, from doing this, but it blew out one of the glass panes that closed in front of it. So you know how like the fireplaces have those glass
Yeah.
panes, right? Yeah, it blew out one of those panes.
Was this like a gas fireplace then, and not like a wood fireplace? Because usually the wood
No,
fireplaces didn't have glass panes. I didn't think, at least.
I actually, I don't remember. No, 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 no. It was wood.
Oh,
It
okay,
was
interesting
definitely
to have
wood.
glass then.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back through my head. Well, I mean, I think if it's typically if the wood thing's going, you leave that open.
Yeah,
But he's not smart.
SMRT.
Yeah. So he tried. Here's what's really messed up. After this, almost immediately after this, he invited his girlfriend over for the night.
Mm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So
I'm shaking
his
my head no.
girlfriend thought he was innocent. She
Of
cooperated with the
course.
police, trying to clear him from the investigation. But while doing this, she opened up Snapchat and saw that his location was marked on one of his messages, and he was apparently in the forest on the banks of the Wisconsin River on July 3rd when he claimed he was doing chores at home. Now, that location
X-rep
on
data to the win.
that location is where they found his mother's legs strewn in multiple locations. In addition, he sent a picture of himself on the property when he was visiting. I'm pretty sure this is the right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the when he was visiting the pool. He took a picture of himself, basically like hanging onto a tree, and sent it to his girlfriend. But the tree was like on her family property. It was just a few yards away where his father's torso was put moments before. The kid was despicable. He deserves
Yes.
everything he got and a little bit more. Chandler Halderson, who also went by Chaz, which tells you a lot. Um, you can rot, and that's no lie.
Yes.
He's he's a piece of work, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, to kill anyone sucks, but to kill your own fucking parents, that's
yeah.
next level disgusting. They're the people that raised you. They gave you
Well,
life.
and I didn't even get into so there was a lot of surveillance in that neighborhood. One home had surveillance stuff around the house, so that
Yeah.
helped in terms of the goings and the comings and goings of the cars in their driveway. But then Chandler also felt the need to further the lie by going to neighbors' houses, knocking on doors, and asking if they had seen anything suspicious,
Oh
like a
my
day or two after he
God.
reported it. And what's crazy is that all these folks have Ring cameras. He's not wearing a neck brace, and one of his neighbors is a former police officer. What's what's incredible to me is this police officer noticed that something was weird and up. And so he met Chandler in his garage and said, "Let's talk in the garage," because he had like a puppy or something and didn't want the puppy to get out. And he actually recorded the conversation with Chandler because he just thought it was weird and odd.
Yeah.
And they played it in court. And it's just fascinating how far he was willing to go to try to push this
Yeah.
narrative. But Chandler Halderson's he's a piece of shit.
He is definitely a piece of work.
And I am so glad he's in prison forever.
Yes. And while I don't believe in a hell, he's gonna rot in a proverbial hell.
Yes. Yes, for
Prison.
sure.
American
Yes.
prison.
Wisconsin prison.
Very,
where,
very cheesy prison.
where all you're fed is cheese and everybody has constipation and they're frustrated.
That
That's
or the opposite of constipation, depending on how you
fair.
deal with dairy.
You know what? I hope he's lactose intolerant.
Yes, yes.
Drop the soap, Chandler. Do it.
Ah,
Drop it.
thump.
Yep. I've dropped the soap. Although
God.
knowing Chandler, he'd drop it and be like, "Hey, anybody, I dropped the soap. Oh no, what am I to do?" Who is going to
Yes,
help me?
probably. Yeah. Well,
Be like,
I call him a fuckhead.
yep, yep, he is definitely a poop bag.
A stain
And
on someone's shorts.
yep, and now that we've come full circle, I think it's time to let these people go. I'll be Moses
Yes.
for a second. Let them go.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Brew Crime. You can find us on all social media platforms at Brew Crime. We have a Facebook group at Brew Crime the Group. We'd love if you join us and post memes and stories and all kinds of stuff there. If you'd like to support the show, head to patreon.com/brewcrime now. Money goes towards upgrading equipment and making the show that much better. You get one bonus episode a month, as well as early ad-free access to our episodes. So shout out to our Patreon supporters, Three Beers In Podcasts, The Faves of Our Lives, and True Crime Nana.
Don't kill your parents.
Yes, do not
Just
kill your parents.
tossing that out
Yeah. If anything, support your parents because they
there.
have
Yeah.
given everything they have to make sure that you grow up to be at least a sort of like decent person in society.
Ideally. I mean, and
I mean, I know there's bad parents out there, but still don't kill them.
we all have moments where we hit hard times but
Yes,
be
yes.
honest about it, and chances are people are gonna pick you up when you're falling down,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And don't compare yourself to other people, like your siblings. Everybody portrays a grass is greener approach, but not everything's perfect.
Exactly.
Life is not all Instagram and roses.
Very true.
All cases in Brew Crime are written by Mike and JT or a writer we credit on the episode, and sources are put into our show notes for each episode. We always want to give credit to the people that research the cases we talk about. Check out our store at tpublic.com/stores/brew-crime-podcast, where you can purchase gear like t-shirts, phone cases, stickers, pillows, and all kinds of other cool stuff. Brew Crime's intro was created by Mike using Creative Commons Attribution licensed audio from purple-planet.com, soundbible.com, and freesoundeffects.com. Logo designed by Ben Greenberg. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brew Crime Podcast.
The criminal justice system is pretty straightforward. Usually, a crime occurs, it gets reported to the police, and investigators get to work peeling back the layers of deception. Regardless of where the crime occurred or the circumstances involved, there's always an insinuation that something bad just happened, and there's enough evidence to issue further investigations.
Sometimes these investigations stall because of gray areas that don't quite line up with specific laws being broken. Sometimes it just takes time to investigate. Sometimes it's simply too late. Worse things occur, and we can no longer go back to fix what we weren't sure was broken in the first place.
During each season of Insinuation Podcast, your hosts will take one crime and break it down from the very beginning. We provide you with enough information to elude that something was wrong long before the outcome of each case. We dive deeper into the root of the problem, which many times turns out to be the criminal justice system that we depend on every day to save lives.
We are here to raise awareness of the inequalities in our criminal justice system, which commonly comes from insinuations throughout each case.
We call for social change for the wrongly accused, where insinuations of guilt change the lives of innocent people forever.
We call to action the protection of children and families, where eyewitness accounts insinuate that something is happening in our own neighborhoods, but we can't get past the gray areas or the red tape.
Join me, Deborah Norman,
And me, Marianne McCullough,
as we bring you a different case each season that inspires you to make a change.
You're not just listening to another podcast. You're breaking through the bystander effect to take action and make a real change in our society. Start or sign a petition call your local legislatures and take action on behalf of the innocent.
Find us on Instagram and TikTok at Insinuation Podcast, and let's get started.